The sport of basketball dates back over a century ago in the late 1800s, and you better believe this sport has changed quite a bit since then. The NBA was founded back in 1946 and has been a huge source of entertainment for cheering fans. But a lot of the time, people don't always see what's going on off court, and secrets are bound to get swept under the rug. From theories of how the NBA maximizes profit to some players making bad decisions, here are things you didn't know about the NBA. But first, quick shout out goes to Nuclear Grizzly for letting us know which vehicle he would choose during the zombie apocalypse. Number 11. The inventor of basketball. James Naismith was the inventor of basketball and was also a member of the Freemasons. He wrote 13 rules originally to the sport to keep it simple, but that number also has been associated with the Illuminati. In modern times, that number has increased to 66 pages of rules. Being born in Canada, he was a physical education teacher who noticed that it was hard for him and his students to get exercise outside during wintertime. He used 2 peach baskets, cut out the bottom, and suspended the bottomless basket 10 feet high on the side of the wall. He went on to coach at the University of Kansas for over 39 years. You also have to notice that this is kind of similar to the game that the ancient Aztecs used to play, where the winning team had the honor of being sacrificed to the sun god. In any case, his invention of basketball would go on to change the world as we know it, and we're about to see that in this video. Number 10. New game ball theories. Many people might not realize, but being able to change the outcome of a game is fairly simple. One way to possibly make the game more entertaining is to simply change the ball that the players are using. From 2005 to 2006, NBA Commissioner David Stern announced that they would begin to use a new microfiber ball to be used instead of the conventional leather ball. He stated that the new ball would make it easier to grip and stay dry despite sweat from players' hands. Many players expressed dissatisfaction with the new ball, including the Suns point guard Steve Nash, who claimed it became more slippery when wet. During that year when new microfiber balls were used, it was shown that shooting percentages increased, and so did the turnover rates. They eventually went back to using the leather balls again, but it gives you a good idea how simple it can be to change an outcome. Number 9. Shaquille O'Neal. Are you guys ready for the biggest Freemason of all? That's right, Shaquille O'Neal has joined the Brotherhood and now seems to have a dominant role as a television personality on TNT. Some have accused him of mysteriously staring at the camera and have accused him of being part of the MKUltra project. Maybe the Shaq bot need a reboot. He revealed his membership during a television airing where he stated that it's a ring of his profession and it clearly showed a Freemason symbol. He admitted to being a Mason but doesn't go into too much detail about it. He's also working as a DJ as DJ Diesel. His initiation probably wasn't until after his career. Brother O'Neal is reportedly a part of the Widow's Sun Lodge of Boston, Massachusetts. That's Celtic territory, Shaq. What are you doing? Number 8. Game 7 theories. This theory seems to make some sense and indicates that big market team rivals will tend to get better calls and have a better chance to win the finals for the sake of ratings. Since the 1980s, only a select few of popular teams have been involved in the playoffs, including multiple rematches such as the Lakers vs. Bulls, Cleveland vs. Golden State, Lakers vs. Celtics, and so on. Some claim that a good matchup that ends in a sweep is still more profitable than a 7-game series involving low-market teams. Big market team biases also involve marquee players like Shaquille O'Neal, LeBron James, Steph Curry, Michael Jordan, and so on. Small market teams are also at a disadvantage since it's hard to attract big players or get them to stay for a long period of time. Number 7. Tim Donaghy. If you're an NBA referee, you probably understand that it might be a little bit hard sometimes to not be biased, especially if you had money on the game that you were officiating. A huge referee scandal took place from 2005 to 2007 when the FBI was investigating the referee Tim Donaghy. He was accused of gambling on games he was officiating and also gave information to his friends on how he'd be reffing the game. Talk about having some insider info. The NBA official was known for being a great referee for a while until he was approached by some professional gamblers who wanted to make a deal with him. Some informants claimed that he made at least $227,000 by rigging the outcomes of games during that time. During some investigations of the Gambino family, Donaghy's name was brought up, and the FBI figured out that someone was corrupt. He would eventually get charged for his corruption and would be sentenced to 15 months in jail. Despite the controversy, the NBA claims that all referees are closely monitored for fairness and how well they do calling fouls. Number 6. Michael and Juanita Jordan. Michael Jordan was one of the most successful NBA players of all time and will always go down the conversation for being the best player to ever play the game. Unfortunately, the success in his marriage was rather limited. Some are beginning to wonder if he was also the greatest cheater of all time. Being married to an extremely wealthy person can have its challenges, and being a star like Michael Jordan could have resulted in much temptation. The couple got married at an early part of Michael's life, and it was just because Juanita got pregnant. He felt obligated to tie the knot, and both parties willingly signed a prenup, which helped him limit the damage, but not all of it. Rumors online would also make Tiger Woods' infidelity seem like a picnic at grandma's house in comparison to his alleged affairs. According to some sources, he would definitely have his entourage interview any woman that he got involved with in order to make sure that she wasn't going to say anything. Whatever the reason for the divorce was, his wife Juanita made a whopping $168 million and also took his 7-acre estate in the Chicago area. That amounts to roughly 1/3 of his wealth. Number 5. Game 7 Theories. This next one is fairly simple, and even though that some believe that 7-game theories are less profitable than good matchup sweeps, you still have to consider some factors. During the playoffs, when it's the best of 7 matchup, the NBA can still sell tickets for 7 games as opposed to 4 games. That can mean a difference of millions of dollars. It would potentially lead to a higher profit for people buying tickets, purchasing beer and parking, and so on. If there are stars on both teams who people are willing to pay to see, the profit potential is certainly there. One event that fueled this theory was when a fan said that the NBA commissioner let him on a secret. He claims that David Stern told him that the NBA needed a 7-game series between the Lakers and the Celtics finals in 1984, and that the league needed more money. Larry Bird made a statement to the media that this was the case, and they noticed a large amount of fouls during Game 6. Number 4. Allen Iverson. There seems to be a trend going on of NBA players going broke only years after retirement, and no case is quite as drastic as Allen Iverson. He made over $200 million during his 15-year NBA career, but was left with not much to show for it. He was known for doing extravagant things that many of us would never dream of. This includes buying expensive suits that he'd only wear one time and leave them at the hotel. He'd also spend about $10,000 a month on groceries and was known to run up the tab while eating out. Iverson had a 50-person entourage who would travel with him at all times. He would also shower them with all kinds of lavish gifts. Some even claim that he blew $1 million in Atlantic City on gambling and was eventually banned due to unpaid debts. He also had to go through a big divorce and had to pay child support for 5 different kids. The story goes on, and it's a little bit disturbing to see someone who has it all blow it all away on some poor decisions. Number 3. Dennis Rodman and Kim Jong-un. How the heck does a former NBA superstar and world champion Dennis Rodman from the Chicago Bulls end up becoming pals with the tyrannical ruler of North Korea, Kim Jong-un? Well, it turns out Kim is actually a big basketball fan, and he came up with the idea of having Dennis come to the capital city to play. Kim also grew up as a Chicago Bulls fan, and during his trip to North Korea, they actually became buddies. Dennis is probably the only Westerner to ever meet Kim Jong-un, and he's actually been a supporter of the regime. He claims that North Korea really isn't that bad, and they don't really want a war. But should we really believe a guy who's actually married himself before and has dyed his hair an infinite amount of strange colors? Maybe not. Number 2. The Bison Dele Mystery. Bison Dele, a former NBA basketball player, was missing when him and his brother and girlfriend were on a vacation in French Polynesia in 2002. Dele always kept in contact with his family, and they began to wonder what happened to him. A few weeks later, his brother forged Dele's signature to purchase a large amount of gold. He also used Dele's passport to travel to Mexico, where he was found. Before the cops had a chance to question his brother, he overdosed on insulin. No one's 100% sure what happened to this former NBA player. Did the girlfriend and his brother conspire against him? His body was never found, but this was possibly the case. And number 1. LeBron James controversy. A phenomenal star, no doubt, but he's among some of the most hated men in the world. Even though he decided to return to Cleveland, his choice to go to Miami instead of staying in his hometown to play left a bad taste in many people's mouths. Photos of people burning LeBron's jersey in the streets of Cleveland was a common ritual after his deal signing. He also made a huge spectacle of it by going on national television bragging about how many rings he was going to win. LeBron was involved in more controversy as of recently and made some pro-China statements. This happened in response to a pro-Hong Kong tweet made by Daryl Morey that he said was uninformed. This has earned him the nickname of Le China. LeBron James aren't the only thing on fire though. California wildfires spread dangerously close to his house recently too.